Welcome to the Lost Lowdown Podcast 179 with your hosts, Claude and Justin.
What's up, guys?
We're back, continuing our Season 5 commentary series with episode 510, He's Our You, and we're your us.
Are you?
He's our you, yes. Are you? He's?
Are you are he's?
What does one snowman say to the other snowman? He's our you. Yeah, I hate this episode title.
It's not a good one. I remember when we heard about it in advance and it was like,
Yep.
what the fuck is that? Once
Yeah.
they say it, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
But it is also a bad title.
I think, and I know we've talked about this in the podcast before, but there used to be a time, a lost, forgotten time when, like, you didn't know the episode titles of shows you were watching.
True.
And so there's this thing with Lost where, I guess, just because of the digital internet age, but we were just always so aware of what the episode titles were.
True.
And that really colored, your opinion about what it might be, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, like Twin Peaks, the episodes are untitled. I mean, that like German company named them, and so like some people say those, but most people just say the numbers. And if Lost was like that, where it was just like episode 10 of season 5, it would be different because the title does imply like what the most important thing is.
Yeah, what the important thing, or even like the sort of tone, some of these are like
Some like it Hoth.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, how good can that episode be if it's called Some Like It Hot? Like dead is dead. Okay, huh? Jughead, Glass
Right.
Ballerina.
Yeah.
Jack's Hideous Tattoos. That was the title of that one, right?
Fire plus water.
Fire plus water equals what? What is this equation that's unfinished? Is this Fermat's last theorem or what?
Wow. It was that deep.
I assumed it always was.
I thought it was just like, actually, was there fire? What was the fire in that episode? Did Charlie set something on fire?
He set the baby on fire.
Charlie set the baby on fire.
It was an accident,
It was an accident. Charlie!
Charlie, you set the baby on fire. That's Claire, if you didn't know. Exactly what she sounds like. All right, well, so I don't remember a lot about this episode. This is a theme for season 5. Clearly, and I think it's going to get worse for season 6 because I rewatched these last seasons fewer times than the previous seasons. So yeah, it's a Saeed episode. We talked last time about how
finally there's a kind of a centric character.
Yeah,
done that for a little while.
Yeah, and we talked about last time how Saeed has already gone downhill. He will never be as interesting as he was before, and this is a bit more of the beginning of his end.
Yeah. I was thinking through that. Like, I was thinking through like the evolution of how they use Saeed's character, and I feel like he got a lot of good stuff in season 1. He's the one who found Rousseau originally, and he was doing all that shit trying to like repair the triangulate the signal or whatever. They got a lot of mileage out of that. And he was the one who went to rescue the baby when Rousseau took the baby at the end of season 1. Like, that ends up being his mission. He goes with Charlie, and Charlie, he doesn't do that much. So Saeed kind of has to take charge and go to the smoke and stuff. And then in season 2, he's the one who figures out that he digs up the grave and he figures out that Henry Gale is actually not Henry Gale and is another, and then he gets to go on that mission in the boat where he explores the FAMP and finds out that it's a FAMP. with a Fadge and all that, and then he also gets to see the four-toed statue. On
he has the whole
time.
the sailing around the island to get there faster.
Yeah. So I think like for those 2 seasons, the model was like Sayid gets a kind of a B or a C plot, but that's like fairly interesting. So he can be proactive, I guess.
Yeah, it's goal and task oriented.
Yeah, exactly. And because he's he's like an action oriented character, that's the way they used him. And so like he's supposed to, exactly. But as the seasons go on, like I think in season 3, I mean, he did have some good stuff in season 3 with the flame and the Mikhail stuff. Like that was pretty good. But I think at the end of season 3, you can see Sayid starting to recede because he's just like captured on the beach, and he does get to do that cool leg move. But he doesn't get like a mission of his own. Like he's kind of just part of the, stopping the others on the beach mission. And then in season 4, it's kind of similar where he doesn't really get a thing of his own. He gets to fight Kimi, but it's inconsequential. And he doesn't really get anything of significance to do, and season 4, of course, is where they introduced the Hitman plot for his flash forward stuff, and that is definitely the beginning of the end of the downfall of the character, where they decide that he's gonna turn to the dark side, and he's been on that path ever since. And this season, it's been atrocious. I mean, he hasn't had anything to do like all season. He's just been like carted around from place to place, more or less. I mean, he broke Hurley out, like that's the most proactive thing he did, but then he got hit with a dart, and then he's just lying on the couch for a while. And then Ilana captures him.
Then he just gets captured and taken against his will. He has no clue what's happening. Like all these other characters get all these episodes about why we got to go back, and I'm gonna go try to convince people, and we got to go do this stuff, and I got to get my daddy shoes, and all this like. They're preparing for what's going to happen, and Sayid just gets taken on a plane. I get what is he? Does he what does he think is happening? Like he's getting taken like to Guam or something? Like what's?
Yes. I think we're gonna find that out in this episode.
All right.
Well, like exactly what the cover story was. I as you said that, I'm like, oh, I remember what the cover story is. It's very misleading. I don't want to spoil it. But it doesn't matter at all. But but yeah, like I think you can really see like how bad it's getting by how like, okay, he's passed out on the couch, then he's carted onto the plane by force, and now he's locked up by the Dharma Initiative, and they're just gonna like interrogate him. And
they clearly have nothing for him to do, so they have to literally keep him sidelined.
Exactly. Yeah, because it's like if he was out, he would be doing stuff.
He would be doing stuff. We don't want you doing stuff, Sayid.
Yeah, it's kind of like Data's off button, where it's just like, if we need you not to do anything because you're too strong for this situation, so just off, and then we don't have to deal with you.
Yeah.
And so now in this episode, he's gonna get I guess it's not in this episode, it's later, but as a consequence of this episode, he's going to get shot by Ben's dad, and then he'll just be like lying around during the season finale, literally doing nothing, just bleeding. Like that's it. That's his story for the end of season 5. Great. And then obviously it leads into the temple stuff where he resurrects, and then he's claimed,
and then he's even worse.
He's zombie Sayid, and he's just like, okay, I will do what you want.
He's Arnold Schwarzenegger for no reason. It was great.
That's I don't know, when I think robot, I guess that's the voice that comes to mind.
I'll buy it.
But yeah, like I mean, he has that little moment on the sub, but like really his days of getting a storyline of his own are over.
Yeah.
He's just instrumental, and really it's about like how can we like marginalize you so that you don't matter so that you can't like actually do anything because all the good stuff is going to the other characters.
So they Son and Jinned him.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Or they declared
Absolutely.
him. I mean, they're doing that to a lot of characters.
They've
Like,
done it
just
to a
get
lot
out
of characters.
get out of the way.
Yeah.
Like, this is we give Sawyer's got stuff to do, and Jack and Kate.
Yeah.
But like
Juliet.
you know what I thought? The quick little tangent, but speaking of those main losties, my big complaint about season 5 and the whole incident in Jughead is how like it didn't matter, and I really wanted this. I really wanted this show to tell us like
you wanted it to matter.
This is that it mattered. That preventing the incident from being a world-ending catastrophe like was the great accomplishment that the Lussies did, and like that's one of the reasons they were there. And there's more reasons for them to be there, but that was an instrumental reason. I really wish that was true, and it made me think like if that had been true, that's why they were brought to the island. It would be this really cool parallel, because it could be like, Losties were brought to the island to prevent the incident, from destroying the world. And I was just thinking of a cool parallel could be like humanity was created on Earth to, eventually long term, prevent the heat death of the universe. Like maybe that's why we're here. We have to save the universe from going extinct. Maybe that's our grand plan.
Whoa.
I know. I went galactic.
Damn.
Like I said, it's a long-term plan. It's gonna take us a few years, but I was like, maybe that's our goal. Maybe ultimately, life is supposed to make sure it doesn't end, which would mean stopping the heat death of the universe.
Luckily, we have a while.
We got a couple years
since it's a hard problem. I think. We're gonna need the billions of years or whatever, however long it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's interesting. It's very like grandiose, like sci-fi. It's like 2001-ish or something.
Yeah. Well, now I was just thinking like, maybe that's what the monolith wanted humanity for.
Yeah.
Like, help us with this project. Like I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like that idea. That's interesting. Of course, they didn't do that, but they couldn't even go so far as to confirm that the Earth was at stake.
That was the problem. Yeah, I mean, yeah. When you don't know the stakes, then I don't know how much your story matters.
Yeah, yeah. It's a weird choice, and the Leftovers, the way that whole like apocalypse went down, like really made me reconsider this one, because you can see in the Leftovers like he's totally willing to write a story where a character like or multiple characters think apocalypse is coming and they're just wrong.
Yep.
They're just maybe they think that, but that doesn't mean they're right.
It's raining, therefore a biblical flood is coming. I don't know. Maybe it's just the low pressure system.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's the thing with that particular plot line of the Leftovers is if we had seen that show years ago or before we had gotten into Lost, would have totally bought into that. It would have totally believed the end is
true.
And I just would have told, because why would they do it? How could the character be wrong? Why would you write characters believing something that's wrong?
Yeah.
And that's what Lost is about.
Well, yeah, exactly. No, that's a good point. The order mattered. It just would have been reversed. We would have learned our lessons from the Leftovers. And then when we watched Lost, it would have been a different experience because it would have been like, well, that's just what you think. I mean, you don't really know.
Yeah, Art says a tsunami's coming, or not tsunami, but typhoon. What did he say? Monsoon. Monsoon.
Oh, monsoon. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, monsoon's coming, and we would have been like, yeah, I don't know. We'll see if a monsoon's coming.
Yeah. That's definitely an early version of that, I guess. Very similar. Yeah.
But then there's a tricky thing of, did the monsoon not come because, you know, the island's moving?
Ooh.
Or, you know, like he's wrong
He
about where
didn't
they
know
are.
about that.
Or he's just a fraud. So
Right.
there's also that one.
Yeah, I think that was one of the missing pieces. It's like ours, like, yeah, you know, I don't really know that much about the weather or whatever.
Yeah.
I just said that because I wanted to get off the island, or I forgot what he said.
Yeah, I just wanted to seem important. Or
he admitted that it was
like
bullshit.
Do you remember the ABC online, like it was like the Lost Journal or something?
Oh yeah, sure do. That was great.
Man, I mean that was a special thing about Lost, was it did that thing, and you know, the blast door map we talked about last time, like that being so key. This very particular bridge that was built between the audience and the show, where it felt like we could crack the case. You know, we were there too, in a way, you know, vicariously through this other media, and that wasn't just a TV show. And that idea that if you paid enough attention to the details, you could figure out what's going on, either with the characters, even before the characters, right? Because like the journal had stuff the other characters didn't know about. They didn't find the journal. Right. You know, and it was like, they took my brother, and here's his shirt, and like
that was so weird.
And it was like the weirdest thing. But you're reading it because we hadn't learned our lesson yet. That like, this is just marketing, and some marketing cares.
Bullshit. Yeah,
and someone wrote that, and it didn't matter at all what it contained.
No, it was totally irrelevant.
Yeah,
it was really weird. Like, oh, my brother's dead. I don't know why I thought my brother was in there.
I guess they made more than one of these shirts. I don't know. Like,
yeah.
Who else shops at the Gap? Wow, other people know about the Gap? Oh, geez. But luckily, no one knows about my secret store, Old Navy.
I wonder if anyone preserved that. You know, if anyone follows us on Twitter,
it's probably on the Wayback Machine.
We have a great social media presence these days on Twitter, and that's about it. At the
we're also on Gmail. Is that social media?
Oh yeah, does it count? Is it social?
I don't think.
I don't know. Is it media? I don't know. I guess it is. Maybe. I don't know. It's a hard one. Anyway, I was just gonna say, I used the Wayback Machine to dig up, because Lost Cast, you know, the Lost podcast that you know, was on in the early days. They started in season 2, I believe, and I heard their podcast about lockdown, you know, mainly about the Blast Door map, and that page is gone now. Of course, but yeah, the Wayback Machine has it, and so you can actually see the comments and see the links, and I think it was like an hour and a half, which was really long for a podcast at the time. You know, they went really in depth, and I think an interesting thing to do, at least it was for me, is if you click on the incident podcast on the side there, then you see, like, I think they wrapped up the incident in like 45 minutes, and the comments are all like, you're a shadow of your former self. You used to be so in depth, and now you don't seem to care about the show at all.
Oh, interesting.
Like, let's just say, I don't think they're doing any kind of commentary series. They were done back in season 5, and watching it now, like, I kind of understand. I think, like, I was too committed to ever consider, like, not caring about the show. Like, it just, you know, the possibilities still seem to open to me, but I feel like they were picking up on some of the disappointments that, you know, that we've noticed so far. But anyway, it's a cool bit of Lost Lowdown, like, old nostalgia, because you know, that was the thing I heard where I was like, that sounds like a really fun thing to do. You know, we could sit there and just talk about, like, Lost details in a lot of depth, and go on and on about it. And we do it anyway, so we just record it.
Yeah, we're already talking hours about the show. Let's just record it, and
people want to hear it, apparently.
Yeah, wow.
It was
People wanted something, but yeah, it's I do think and I wouldn't have necessarily said this before we did the commentary series, but particularly before season 5 commentary series, but I do think the veneer had or did wear off on Lost, and we were still too invested in it to have that lack of veneer like throw us off. Right. I think we still held out hope that it was all going to something and it was all going to matter.
Yeah.
And even if they were focused on different things, it was still really interesting. What was happening was still really interesting. We still like the characters. But that's the thing, when you know the whole story and you have the whole season and all that kind of stuff, and like Saeed's done. Like there's no good Saeed left. Then you don't have that hope that's out there that he'll do something good later, or the show will do something good later, or the island is a spaceship from another dimension that's harboring an interdimensional prisoner. That's something you might think is what the show's leading up to if you're a reasonable person. So
it's still a possibility at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's so many unanswered questions, and you think, well, they got to answer some of the big ones at least.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of don't fault people who jump ship. At a certain point, it wasn't giving them the thing they wanted.
Yeah. And that, the quote I loved, I forgot what they said. Oh man, I'm gonna have to look it up. The quote I loved was like, it was about the Blastor map, and it was like, this will surely be an important topic for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
It was like, here we go. I'll find the exact quote. I got it right here. Because it was so hopeful, and I remember thinking the same thing.
Yep.
From the looks of it, this map will be an enduring topic for some time to come.
Oh, from the looks of it, wow.
It's like the next episode, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They were done with the Blastor map so quickly. Locke draws this like cartoon version of it. It's like, well, clearly
he remembered he remembered like 2 things from it, and then he's like, question mark? And it's like,
that's all they did with it. They go to the question mark, and it's the Pearl Station. The end. That was the Blastor map. Thank you. Good night. It was really not like that big of a deal, but that really showed like a kind of mismatch between the way the fans were taking things and what they actually cared about or intended to develop and spend time on. Like even back then, even when the show was actually really good, they still were not the kind of show where like, oh, you need to study the Blastor map for an hour and a half to understand what's going to happen next.
Because it's a TV show. TV shows don't do that.
Exactly. But they fooled people into thinking they were doing that, and that it was a very effective thing because it got a lot of people interested who maybe wouldn't have been interested in just a normal action adventure TV show.
Are you talking about us?
For example.
Yeah, are you saying Lost was a long con?
Kind of. I guess like mysteries are kind of like long cons in a way, and they work on me, for the same reason cons do, I guess. I'm still like susceptible to that structure, I guess, but yeah, I think I held out a lot more hope for like dissecting the show will lead to like some kind of revelation about what the story is. I'll know in advance. I remember someone like early in season 3, they were like listening to the audio. Well, you remember people like analyzing the whispers and.
Oh yeah, that was a whole.
And you seem to be gone.
Oh, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought you were gone.
Whispers,
And I remember like there was some background chatter with the others where they said the name of the submarine and people were like really obsessed with that, like it was going to be a big deal. It really didn't matter at all.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Galaga. Like, no, the Galaga, it's really important. Like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I After the Blastdoor map, I think, not that I gave up on the show, but that kind of stuff I was done with.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's use like a spectrogram to like
Yep.
analyze the light, and we'll like see the secret answer to what the smoke
Yeah.
monster is.
Or like audio recording tools to like
Yes.
reverse the audio
Play
when
shit, yeah, waltz stuff
and
backwards.
disappear
Like,
and
it didn't really
yeah, and it was
matter.
like, yeah, it's like you might hear something, but it's because they have to say something. So, it doesn't mean it's important. If it was
Exactly.
important, they would have made it clear to us, but
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I don't
Ruso's
know if
transmission is the same way. Like, the stuff that Shannon translates is not completely what it says, but
yeah, I
the
definitely
stuff
think it
she
was
says is the only stuff that matters.
yeah, I think it was a culmination of not only the type of show it was and what they were giving out, but of course like what the internet was doing at the time and social media and there was that
Yeah.
sense of everyone joining in together to solve the mystery with all of these like different parts, and I'll go analyze the Blastdoor map and I'll go analyze the whispers, and then people like sharing what they found out. I don't know if there'll be a show like that again where unless they're doing it for
Yeah.
real, there are real things to find out. You could write a show where some of the mystery is there if you spend extra time outside of the show. But yeah,
Hmm.
it was such a unique kind of thing that I think if the show had aired, 5 or 10 years before or 5 or 10 years after, it would have been a completely different thing.
Yeah.
Because if we saw the
Yeah.
Blaster map in a show in the 90s, there would be no way we would think, oh, let me freeze frame
Freeze
it
frame it.
and
Yeah.
then like analyze it and translate the Latin and you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it was crazy.
Yeah.
But that was super exciting, and I think that it did make you feel like you were a lostie, that you
Yeah.
plugged into the mysteries.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
You're
enough
like
about when the show
investigating.
was good. Let's talk about the show when it's horrible.
Oh, okay. Sure. So,
Who are you?
I'll say what I remember about this
Mhm.
episode, which is like basically I remember three scenes. So the first scene is like the "He's Our You" thing, which is like they have Saeed captured and they're gonna like give him LSD or something or mushrooms. I
Mhm.
forget. They give him some kind of drugs,
That's right.
and he's all like, and he's gonna be like, I came from the future and you're all going to die.
Oh man, that's great. Yeah.
And they're going to be like, oh, I guess you made it a little too strong or whatever they're going to
Yeah.
say.
Whoops.
You
Yeah.
know the
It's
punchline.
totally yeah.
So I remember that. And I remember, that he shoots Ben at the end.
Mhm. Mhm.
Obviously that was like the punchline of the episode.
Yeah.
But the other thing I remember is the flashbacks, which thinking forward, I guess, to the way the rest of the season goes from here. I think what they start doing now is kind of filling in the gaps of the Oceanic Six storyline that they kind of blew by before.
Mhm.
Like what happened with Saeed exactly? Like we really
Mhm.
don't know at this point.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to fill that in, and they're also going to kind of close out the Saeed and Ben hitman plot. I think this is like our final word on
Oh,
that.
good.
So yeah, I know we can finally say goodbye to like the one new thing that gave Saeed in the final three
Mhm.
seasons.
Yep. Good riddance.
It was not. I feel like that plot had potential, but they just completely botched it.
The thing that makes that whole plot a little bit incongruous with Saeed's character growth is that, if in the beginning with the Henry Gale stuff, he was like, I was a murderer, then when I'm sorry, excuse me,
Mm-hmm.
then when Ben makes him a murderer later, you'd see this dramatic irony there. but he was a torturer.
Yeah.
And he doesn't really go around torturing people later for Ben.
Yeah.
That would have been the more direct correlation to like Sayid reliving this past that he was trying to get over, but he had to go back into it because to, quote unquote protect his friends or whatever.
Right.
So I think that's a little bit of thing that doesn't quite work with that. It would have been better if when we saw him as the hitman Sayid, like we were always aware that this was something he was trying to get away from, from his past, but that's not exactly what they set him up as. He wasn't a hitman for the, Iraqi guard or whatever. He was a torturer.
Right.
So that was a little bit that something just came to me that wasn't quite.
Yeah. They try to just like wrap it up under like he's bad, but like, yeah, I agree. It's not the same thing at all.
Yeah.
It's like, but killing
people you think are going to kill your friends is different than torturing someone who may or may not be innocent.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. And I wish we had even a final word on the people he was killing. Not to mention the Nadia thing, which is the whole reason he started doing it in the first place.
Oh, geez. Yeah, don't get me started.
I feel like that's a big problem with that storyline. Probably the big problem with that storyline is like just the vagueness about who he's killing and why. And the vagueness about like the inciting incident.
Who killed Nadia and why.
Yeah, like
I guess it makes sense that Ben did it to get Sayid to do all this stuff.
But they should have told us that. I just feel like if Ben did it, like I wish they had revealed that, because then I would at least understand what the story is for sure. But I'm just not 100% sure that Ben did it. Like maybe he did. Maybe it was a random hit and run. Maybe Jacob was involved. Maybe Widmore did it. I really can't tell.
Yeah.
And it's like, why?
It'd be weird. Like, I don't think it's Widmore because why? Widmore doesn't give a shit. Like, so doing that to Sayid is not helping Widmore find the island. So I don't think
agree.
It's Widmore. And it's weird for, like, Ben is around, right? After, like, let's see, he's there at Nadia's funeral, right? Or something Sayid runs into.
Yeah, he shows up at Nadia's funeral.
Yeah. So it would make sense if Ben was involved, but then you have the scene where Jacob is there sort of saving Sayid / maybe killing Nadia.
Yeah.
So it's
get him to the island. And Alana is the one who takes Sayid, and she's all about Jacob.
Yeah, so maybe it's Jacob knowing that Sayid won't come back to the island unless he's forced, unless Nadia is not there.
It's like, I thought you didn't step in, Jake.
Yeah. You don't deserve the
That's right. I'm done with those formalities.
Jake. Yeah, it's the formalities. Your entire name.
Yeah, that's the second formality.
Syllable. Yeah, it would be weird, but he did step in at some points, right? I mean, he touched a couple people, bringing them to the island. So I mean, he did sort of do that. But once they got to the island, he was hands off. Like,
right. That's the distinction. Okay. Jake, fine. I'll buy that.
I love calling him Jake to passive aggressively convey your disdain for the character. Oh, that's great. It's just a little bit, it's like writing God with like a lowercase g. It's like, I don't really believe in you, so I'm gonna lowercase g you. Like, it's the subtlest thing
ever. Small protest.
Yeah, exactly. It's nice. Jake. Oh, that's great. That's awesome. I love that. That's my new favorite thing. Jake. Oh man. I'll give you the when you have a definable ideology.
Exactly.
Jesus Christ.
I.e. never. Yeah,
never.
Yeah, so I think it's kind of interesting the structure of the season, like the way they tried to get around the fact that the old way is over, of traditional flashbacks.
Like the move was, so like season 4 was flash forwards, and the move in season 5 was like, okay, for the first half, our back and forth will be Oceanic 6 and Islands. And that'll be how we'll still tell the story with this sense of flashing, but we won't actually be flashing.
Yeah.
And then for the second half, what they did is they built up some kind of fake mysteries in the Oceanic 6 storyline and rush them to the island, so that then once they're at the island and in Dharma and nothing's happening, then they can go to those flashbacks, and it's like they're having flashbacks, but really, like, the way the story went, we should know this stuff already. I feel like we should have seen Saeed's path to getting on the plane. I feel like showing him already there,
else's path.
and then doubling back. Yeah, exactly. It's just like, I don't know. I mean, they do it with Kate too. They do it with Hurley. There's a few characters where like they just kind of show up, and it's like, what happened exactly? And so then they fill it in later. But I feel like the way the story should have been, like, we just followed them back when it was happening. It would have had more urgency. It just feels like filler at this point, like kind of covering up gaps in the story.
Yeah, but it's like so far that like we're almost like not even concerned anymore, because like the plot's moving forward.
I totally agree. That's why I feel like it's a kind of a filler. It's really just like, we need to kill time until we're ready to. They have the end of the season. The end of the season being like they're not in the 70s anymore. Like that's basically it. Like they're just gonna kill time until they can flash back to the present. Like that's it. I mean, that's the story. It really is like, in a sense, they're all Saeed. They've all been sidelined.
Yeah, they've all been Saeeded.
Because the Man in Black stuff like has to progress to a certain point before they can show up.
Yeah.
And so Jacob has to die. Jake, sorry, has to die before they're ready to come back. And so it's like, you sit in the 70s for 6,
and do nothing and have
do
nothing to do, and like no goal, low, like, oh geez. Oh
yeah, I feel like the present day stuff, like, I'm not saying it's brilliant or anything, because it definitely has its flaws, but I feel like it works better because there's a path there to a goal that actually leads to something, in the overall show narrative. Like,
that's the one thing they never did when they got stuck in the 70s. They weren't, I mean, I guess was the Orchid, I guess, wasn't built yet, right? Or something.
They're building it. They're building it now.
They're building Orchid now. Okay,
because like Dan's gonna go in there when they're constructing it.
That's right.
That's the opening scene.
That's right. Yeah, but that was the thing they never really said or made clear, that like, what, like, how do we get back to the future? They never like had a plan.
Yeah,
their plan was just to wait for the other people maybe to show up. But that's why Jin is like surveying the island, looking for them.
Right.
But like, that was the thing. They weren't like, well, the plan is when the Orchid is rebuilt and finished, then we'll go back down there and try to do something, and maybe we'll figure out how to get back to, there wasn't any like plan, actual like plan. I keep
the closest thing to a plan is we'll detonate the bomb and that'll reset the timeline.
But that's later. We haven't even like talked about that.
Oh, yet, they don't get to that until like very close to the end of the season.
So I mean, there's several years on the island where they don't have a.
They don't do any.
Just like,
yeah,
let's just live with Dharma and LaFleur it up, and then hang out, hoot nanny.
Yeah,
and that's it. So yeah, it's kind of strange to not have like a real plan. And then like when Jack and Kate and those guys show up, there's just like, well, Jack, that's your problem, is you always and I'm just gonna read this book because Hemingway said, what was it, Churchill? Churchill said thinking made him a smart general.
That was pretty much a quote from.
That was a direct quote.
Episode.
It was an exact Sawyer accent.
And I feel like character-wise, like that scene is fine. Like it works. And it's really just the fact that it's situated in a story. Like The point is, like, I don't actually know what to do, and so I'm just sitting here trying to figure it out. And like, yeah, nobody knows what to do. Again, chickens with their heads cut off. Like, it's been like that this whole season almost.
Yeah.
You know?
And no one, like, you know. Oh, go ahead.
That's why the Man in Black plot, like, as much as it's not great, like I said, like, at least there is a clear, like, I want this, I will do this so that I can accomplish this goal. You know, there's a path there that has makes narrative sense and that you can actually get invested in. And I just feel like that is working way better.
Well,
than
the Greeks have a name for that. It's called storytelling.
I know, right? Storytelling is not like characters just sit around in houses and like twiddle their thumbs and whittle and figure out what to do. Like
twiddling and whittling.
And that was the problem in season 6 too. Like eventually it hits a point in season 6 where everyone's sitting around doing nothing, and it's literally whittling. Yeah, like that's just bad. Like if you get to a point where you're writing that, you need to like rethink what you're doing. I feel like there's a lesson there.
Yeah, remember that time in the original Star Wars movies where Darth Vader had nothing to do, so he would sit around whittling with his lightsaber because he was like, I don't know. If you think I could take out the rebels, I'd still be here.
Exactly. It's just not good.
Yeah. No,
I mean, in a way, it was the same on Twin Peaks. After after the Leland was revealed as Bob stuff played out, there was several episodes where it was just like they were twiddling their thumbs and didn't really know what the characters were supposed to be doing anymore. The whole point was investigating the Laura murder, and like we solved it. So what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah.
You know, and it wasn't until Wyndham Earle showed up that the plot started to get a direction again. You know, and in the new series it was even worse because it took like for fucking ever for Cooper to get unsaided.
Oh jeez.
He got saided for like I don't know, 3/4 of the season.
Yeah. Well, he was he was like Dougie Saeed, which is like worse.
It's even worse, but in a way, it's kind of like Saeed in season 6. You know?
It's
kind of a zombie.
Saeed. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, it's not good TV to do that. You know, and that's why the evil Cooper stuff was always better. As bad as it was in the end, at least he was trying to do something. What was he trying to do? We don't know, but he was trying to do something.
Yeah, he was trying to do something, and he was really trying hard.
I want this thing on this card. It's got chicken wings.
You ever seen this before? You better hope not. I want to see it for some reason.
I don't know why, but I do.
Writing's hard, I guess.
That's
the moral of this rant. Is even the best people get it wrong.
Yeah, they just find themselves in these situations where it's like it's too early to go to the next step in the story, but there's actually nothing else for the characters to do right now.
Yeah, imagine if season 5 was like, 20-something episodes, right? Like,
oh my god.
Yeah, what do you
too much?
Does Saeed have tattoos? Like,
Yeah. It makes me think they should have done them all like season 4, like more like 13,
Yeah, that's maybe the natural like length for this show.
Yeah, because it's like a pre-cable show, at least at this point. And so I feel like that's the length you want for the kind of story they're trying to tell. And so I think that's part of why it's weird, because that was the whole thing, like shorter seasons, no filler, but there's still filler.
Yeah, well, and part of it's just they have so many characters, so you need that many episodes.
True.
But there's just going to be a lot of stuff that's not that interesting, which is what we're going to watch right now.
That's correct.
All right, let's get into some He's Are You.
You ready to do this?
Yeah. All right, everybody, get your plays ready if you're going to sync up with us for some He's Are You.
Yay.
Ready when you are.
Are you ready?
Oh no. Now I'm not ready. Okay, here we go.
All right.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Previously on Lost. Are you? He's are you?
One of who? Do you see my hair?
You got to be as serious as my haircut is right now.
Here it is.
I'm a torturer. I mean murderer.
You know, it's
One
more
of
or
the
less
two.
the same.
Yeah, that was some really shoddy planemanship there.
Yeah.
Let's just turn the lights on and put the camera on the angle.
Yeah.
I love this because it's quick thinking by Jin, but it also just puts Saeed in this horrible storyline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it ruins his whole story.
Mm-hmm. I'm Ben. Not the Ben you're thinking of, though. A different Ben.
Ben Finest.
I'm fake Ben Linus. Oh, man. I do remember this.
I do too. I forgot about this. I forgot that it
Yeah.
starts with a real flashback.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, right. They're already setting up Saeed's a
They're
killer.
already. Yeah. Which is like, what's the point of telling us that? Like, you know, the afterlife doesn't hold it against him.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like they pulled back. I don't know why they like condemned his character and then like tried to redeem him.
Mm-hmm.
It's a mess.
Let me kill for you. First,
Michael Myers there.
I mean, wouldn't it have made more sense to show that he doesn't want to kill and he's been forced his entire life to kill against his nature? Isn't that
he
more
does it
dramatic?
for his brother. It's kind of Mr. Echo Part 2.
Mm-hmm. So he's willing to kill to protect people. Okay.
Yeah.
I got that. That almost works. He's too good to even lie.
Wow.
And it will be the name that I say right now. You shall be on ABC's Lost when you're older.
Yeah, that's what they can do when they have kids, where it's not obvious who it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the other brother had curlier hair, so I feel like it makes you think that one's Saeed.
Yeah.
Oh God, Phil.
Yeah.
I liked you better when you were Duncan Todd.
God, I liked him better when he was at Winkies.
No, that was the best.
Hostile Apostle.
Is this the second sandwich?
This is the second sandwich. Yeah, he said I brought him. That was not for eating. What book was that?
I didn't catch it. Uh-oh.
Because it's the 70s.
Ah. 4 years ago.
I look the same. Very patient. What does that mean? Why did we leave off on that? Like, we have no idea what that means. Help him do what?
Yeah, I think you're supposed to ask that. It's supposed to be propelling forward.
But isn't it, I don't know, don't you need to have some idea of what the mystery is to be intrigued?
Yeah, I agree. Yes.
Otherwise, it's like anything could happen, and that's not that interesting.
Yeah. What? Come on, limitless possibilities. Uh-oh. Get your Widmore documents and burn them.
4, 8, 15, 16.
Was it really?
No, I don't.
Okay. Oh, he's trying to bribe him.
Oh, he's got the slick hair now.
I see that. It's the hitman hair.
You got to be that much more aerodynamic. The way Elsa likes it.
Of course. She's dead now, but hey.
She still likes it. She's a ghost on the island.
She's a ghost. Yeah, I don't know why we didn't get Elsa in the Flash Sideways.
You know why.
Oh, I guess he's in Russia. Yeah, I do.
I thought that guy was speaking French.
Oh, well, they do speak, well, not really, but.
I don't know.
Some Russians speak French, I guess. It's like they're in the 40s or something.
Mm-hmm. I guess I could have told you that before, but it's worse for you now.
It's partially for the viewers as well.
Yeah. So he kills like all of Widmore's men, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And Widmore is like none the wiser.
Not even Widmore himself? Like, I don't get it.
That's actually a good question. Go and pretend you didn't just murder dozens of people.
Well, this makes it even worse because it's like, what was all that for?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't even seem to care about it.
He did, yeah. I mean,
It's just like, yeah, that was some busy work, and you're done now. Gonna cut him off.
I love the lighting. Like, why is there a light on the floor shining up? Where's this light coming from?
Yeah, I see it. It's weird.
Of course.
Oh God.
Brzezinski's just making it clear how important that model is.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's actually a tell. Oh, good. At least they address the handcuffs. Don't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Infiltrate us?
Yeah.
Horace doesn't know how words work.
That's like when somebody named Phil gets into something, they infiltrate. Oh, the glasses came off.
He's serious now.
Yeah, and Saeed's a little blurry to him.
Every scene with Horace, I remember I wanted him to go to the cabin.
Right? Take this to the next level. Take him to the cabin.
Yeah, like, let's do it. And it never happens. He never even mentions it.
I think Horace gets like bad when we start the season with him being drunk and like
I agree.
a buffoon, and now
Yep.
I can't take him seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, he does nothing of interest in this season. That cabin stuff is like the only interesting thing about him, really.
He's like, I'm watching a soap opera, romance triangle. Why didn't they just say Saeed was one of their crew members who were missing and he's been living in the jungle for 3 years? Or he was, the Hassals captured him and he just escaped.
Yeah.
He's our long lost crewman.
Yeah. I agree. That sounds like a better story. See, this is all like as a viewer, I hate this because they're just they're just wrong and wasting their time.
Yeah.
Like, let's watch them play out some wrong theories.
That's the worst for a viewer is when it's just a.
Will he? Well, yeah, he will.
Because we're friends. He'll be in the afterlife together.
Exfiltrate yourself.
That's the best line ever said in the show. Why don't you make like a tree and fill?
Let's hope it's not that long.
Right. See, they're still not coming up with a plan of how to get home.
Yeah.
They're just like, I just want to keep our life here.
Just trying to maintain
status quo. Not like, oh, since the Losties are back, now we can move forward.
Right. Yeah, no.
Right, Hurley the cook. They bring out the ham. I remember hating that line.
God. Is there like ham in the waffles?
If we're lucky. How does Hurley know that and they don't? They're both blonde. Come on.
You also saw the end of season 4.
Yeah, his Dharma logo is a chef hat.
Oh,
it's the worst Dharma logo.
It's
Also, is Dharma written in Comic Sans? Looks like
it does look like it. That's not a great choice. Oh, here he is.
Yeah.
Stay away from my boy.
Ouch.
Oof.
British insults are the worst.
Old ham?
Old ham. I mean, there's new ham and there's old ham. How many sandwiches can one man eat in a day?
I know.
Mm-hmm. Is this Ben's first lie?
I've already had 5 today.
Love that. Yeah, I'll come back and clean it up later. All right, now we're Sayid constructing.
Yeah, they're quickly going through the Sayid story from the Oceanic 6 days.
Yeah, this is a weird time to cut back to this.
Yeah, I remember why they're doing this. And you will too.
I smell a rat.
Of course.
I never lost you. Oh. Why do you think that?
That's a good theory.
Oh, that's such a lie.
Wow.
Like, why would Locke get killed over that?
Yeah, there it is.
Why wouldn't Ben do it?
Yeah. Maybe he's just trying to get Sayid on the plane. Get him in LA.
But I mean, why wouldn't Sayid say, Ben, you're a killer?
Yeah.
If this is protect you, like
he just like said murder and torture in the same sentence. That's they're trying to tie it together.
Yeah. You're the killer, Ana Lucia. Uh-oh. It's
Time to
old
pay a
ham
visit to
o'clock.
old ham. Don't tase me, bro.
I love the his mouth just he was not expecting that.
I wasn't either. I thought he was gonna like give him the taser, but I didn't understand why.
Yeah, I do wonder what Sawyer's thinking here, because if Sayid tells the truth, I wonder why he's okay with Sayid going through this.
Yeah.
I mean,
it ends up being that their interrogation technique makes anything he say like questionable, which makes it actually a bad way to question someone.
Yeah, I love that this is their go-to. Like,
yeah, it's typical Dharma bullshit.
They're so inept.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Like, Ben's dad's right. It's that guy.
This guy.
Sheriff, what's his name? from True Blood.
Mm-hmm.
Kill Trout?
I do feel like we should have seen evidence of this guy on the show before somehow.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It feels like, oh, that's Phonograph. Yeah, we remember that from season 2. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, there's just no.
First of all, LSD is great. So, and this is the 70s stuff, so it's good. Like, this is they're doing you a favor, buddy. Who gets to take LSD in the 70s anymore? Come on, nobody.
That's true. That's true. It's a rare treat.
Yeah. Now he's Jesus Christ.
Yep. You'll sleep now.
Yeah, that's the thing about sugar. It dissolves. You don't have to chew it. You can spit it out. You're going to have a good time. Oh.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that this is actually a good way to.
I do feel like they are trying to make us think it's not just LSD, like it's some other crazy thing, but clearly LSD. Yeah, this is awkward as hell.
Now we're back to this.
This is like a what do they call that? Like a clip show episode.
Yeah, it is. It is. And here's the point where they cut out the thing where he says, "And you, Jack," because it doesn't make sense in this episode.
I see any of you again.
Or you. Or you. For all of us. For all of us is what he said. They retconned that shit.
Wow.
I couldn't believe when they did that.
That's pretty amazing.
Like, really? You're just literally rewriting the scene because what you had before doesn't make sense anymore?
Mm-hmm.
Another McCutcheon? Wow. He's spending the bucks.
Yeah.
It's worth more than Desmond makes in a month.
So, okay.
That's what Desmond makes in a month? Ouch.
Yeah, he was a soldier, right? I don't know.
Fair enough. What is it? Jackrabbit Slims? Bloody as hell? I don't understand.
Reminds me of my father.
My daddy Jake. He's real sad.
So after the scene of the dock, Sayid went to have a drink.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's the other thing we don't really get is how does Sayid feel about the fact that he killed all those people? Is it like, well, like, I'm glad my friends are safe? Because they leave him on, well, now what? I have nothing to do. And that's his angst. And they lived happily ever after.
Good times.
Mm-hmm. Hello there.
Hello there. Yikes.
I'm strapped to a tree. This is amazing. It just rolls off the tongue. Oh, should I say? No.
Oh. I'm always running away from someone.
Jera, made up words.
Radzinski gets to
Yep.
drop the important thread there. It goes back to this fucking model.
Yeah. Did the model have the name on it?
I know. It's yeah. Radzinski is a terrible character.
I do wonder when they all end up dying in the purge if they remember Said saying that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That guy in the purple shirt was right.
What did he just say? I missed it.
Because I'm from the future.
Ah.
Yeah, and this is where the bubble bursts.
He's having a great time. Come on, Juliet. Why would she? You didn't either 3 years ago. But I want you to know, Kate, he didn't remember your face. So stay away, bitch. I realized I could just tell you to stay away. I didn't have to find a way around that. I'm Juliet fucking Burke, bitch.
I'll flip your ass.
I'll turn you into a flat 4 engine.
Oh God, I remember this.
Blah, blah, blah. I mean, you really should ask him more about what he knows. Because if he knows it, then the other hostels would know, and killing him doesn't solve anything.
Oh no.
not Ann Arbor. Whoever she
Ooh.
is. It's physically impossible.
You have to kill the foreign man for my baby.
Teach him a lesson that outsiders should be summarily executed.
Like, I already hated Amy, but I found this so irritating.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really?
But isn't them killing him because he broke the truce just going to make the hostiles angry and create more drama and conflict?
Yeah.
Shouldn't it be like, okay, he broke the truce, maybe it was a problem, we'll give him back to you.
Yeah.
Radzinski. All the men and Amy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess everybody.
Yeah. Everybody except LaFleur. Fuck off, Horace. Jesus.
Yeah.
It's not unanimous if you just basically force me to
That's
vote.
why he'd like to say it, even if it wasn't quite true. Oh, my brunette-haired Elsa.
That man you're working for is not an economist.
She's like, what? Oh, sorry, wrong woman. She's like, you would look better with straighter hair.
Do you speak any German?
Jacob's like, this is not what I had in mind, daughter. And kick.
There it is. These boots are made for kicking you in the face.
And that's what they're going to do.
Here it is. The big line.
This is so weird. I don't
That's
buy
the cover
this.
story.
So Jacob told her to say all this?
Yeah, apparently.
What?
Yeah.
How does he even know about all that?
Hey, you read about it? I don't know.
He read about it?
I don't know.
He gets the
he saw it in the White House?
Weekly. What do you read that in?
Yeah, I have no idea. He knows. Ouch. I can hear you.
The LSD still going. I'm just like trailing off here, buddy. I'm not in the mood for a bunch of action. Uh-oh.
Yeah. Maybe I am.
Out of my mind is a better place to be.
Oh no. Why not go inside? Or are they bugged or something?
I assume Jackson's side.
Oh, Jackson's side. Okay. You gotta watch the flashbacks. I told Jack never to ask me. And I won't tell you now for this reason.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. Yeah, this has been before he was corrupted. He had some
This is just like Walt burning the raft.
Crazy shit. It is, yeah.
Little kids setting things on fire.
Yeah. Oh no. He's gonna be the fireman. Who?
So I guess we're supposed to believe Dharma just rebuilt this house. That's why we never saw a burnt
I
house
can
in
only
the future.
assume. Building 15.
Building has 8 letters in it. 815.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if building has 8 letters.
He's got his Charlie hood on. Are we supposed to not know who it is?
Look how tall he looks.
Yeah, that's true.
And now he's short.
He just suddenly shrunk.
What if you hate it there?
Yeah, I feel like he only likes the others because they're hostile to Dharma, and
yeah,
he hates Dharma.
Yeah, because he hates his dad.
It's like the enemy of my enemy.
Yeah.
But it's like, what's inherently good about the others, Ben? Like, what do you actually like about them? Like, I bet he couldn't name anything.
Nothing. No, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So it was weird because wasn't there a shot originally when we saw this from like Jack's perspective when he sees Sayid and they act like this is the first time Sayid has seen them?
Yeah. You're right.
Oh, maybe it was this I'm thinking about. Maybe it's when he sees Ben.
Yeah, they have to emphasize this more now because this is what the episode's about.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the theory.
She could say he's that man right there.
I know.
Sounds like Jacob.
Ooh. Dharma weren't genetically related, really.
Who's not what?
Dharma weren't really genetically related, so I don't think you could call that genocide.
Oh, wow.
I'm just, picking a bone there. It was a mass killing, but not a genocide.
That's fair. All right. Historical revisionist here.
I just think you should,
The Dharma genocide never happened.
I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying. Yeah, I remember this.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot that this is part of how it plays out.
Jinsu Kwan?
Saeed Jarrah? Guess he wasn't in on the decisions. Oh, that's the One Punch Bog.
Yeah, that's a little upsetting. Jin could take more than that.
Yeah, they want to cut to this as fast as possible. His name's not LaFleur.
I guess that also begs the question of did his wound actually heal? So when he's an adult, he doesn't even have a wound of being shot, so he's not questioning, why don't I remember being shot?
I think he does remember being healed. But yeah, I guess he doesn't remember
who shot him.
What happened, yeah, to cause that.
And no one would tell him.
Yeah, I know. It's not exactly a secret.
So that's a great ending. I mean, because we all want it to happen. We all want to test fate and see if this will change anything.
It's the first time they've really played with that, with the time traveling, you know.
And it wasn't like
a preview for what they do at the end of the season.
Yeah, and it wasn't like he pulled the trigger, but the gun didn't fire.
Right.
Or, shenanigans like that.
Yeah. It seems like it really ups the stakes. I think in the moment, it definitely worked.
Yeah.
I wish they had a little more commitment than that. Like, it feels like they immediately try to walk it back as much as possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree. It's a punchy ending, no question. Like, they've had way worse endings this season.
Yeah, it's interesting. So wait, where did He's Our You come in?
That was the guy, Oldham. He's Our You. That's what Sawyer says.
Oh, He's Our You.
Because he's like a torturer, questioner.
Not really at all like Sayid.
Well,
he's the guy who will drug you up with some.
He's the Dharma version of a torturer.
Oh, jeez. I guess that's where Dharma got it fucking genocided by Ben because they were not up to the task at all.
Yeah, they are like super lame. It's
that was their biggest discovery, how to be the most lame.
That's probably that's the greatest thing you will ever do.
Oh no. Oh, not that line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the editing and cutting, showing Sayid, like, that was awkward. I don't even think we needed any of that. I mean, I guess you need to know how he relates to Zulenka. Or what's her character name? Alana, sorry. And like getting that, obviously you sort of need that at a certain point. But it just felt really awkward to cut to, because they were cutting, the flashbacks were at different time periods, so that's what made it extra awkward. It wasn't like you're cutting to the same time period.
It was like a clip show, like you said.
Yeah,
we hadn't seen every scene before, but they were revisiting a lot of stuff that we have seen. So that it's kind of unique in that way. It's kind of like the other 48 days or something, sort of like events that we've heard about from Sayid's point of view.
Yeah.
You
So when Ben comes to wherever Sayid's building houses and he's like, don't you want to kill? And he's like, no. So Ben just leaves, and then Sayid just like, yeah, I do want
Eventually he does it. Yeah, I guess.
just, like, shows
Strangely,
up
that
and-
part was off screen.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why he knows about the guy outside of the mental institution, keeping an eye on Hurley, I presumably. And so at the end of season 4, when he shows up and kills him, that's why. So we finally get our answer.
That's the biggest problem with Saeed's character as it relates to Ben, is he just trusts what Ben says, even though his literally his first introduction to Ben was Ben lying to him.
Right.
And yet
Yeah.
he seems to trust him when he says, "Oh, these are Widmore's men, and they're after your friends." And he goes, "Yeah, you're right. Why would you be manipulated?"
Yeah. Well, at a certain point in season 4, I think he says something like, "The day I trust what Ben says, I will have lost my soul," or something.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's ridiculous, And his first thought was that Ilana worked for Ben.
Yep.
Which is not implausible, really. Because I do suspect that Ben wanted Sayid to be in LA so he could get him on the plane, just like he tried to get, Kate on the plane with the lawyer thing, and he tried to get Hurley on the plane, and Jack, obviously.
But it seems like Ben didn't win that. Like, if it wasn't for Jacob or Jake.
Indeed. No, you're right. Ben failed with Sayid. He wouldn't have. He wouldn't have had Sayid if.
And it was like, oh well, if Sayid doesn't come, oh well, like
he wouldn't have had Hurley either.
It goes back
to with both of them.
Yeah, it goes back. Yeah, Hurley was like, I'll get arrested. That'll show you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that plays into that problem we had before, where the details of who was on the plane didn't actually really matter.
Exactly.
Because he very quickly could have just been, them without Sayid and Hurley. So
if Sayid hadn't come back, I mean, if he didn't have a contract or whatever, like, I don't know. I feel the same way about Desmond. It's just like, I mean, they did at least give Desmond something to do, so that's a bit better. But he did also sit in a well for half the season, so it's kind of similar. Where it's just like his story's over. Like, it's just he doesn't need to come back. Like, if you have nothing for him to do when he comes back, like, just why bother?
Yep.
You could catch up with him in the Flash Sideways if you want to include him in that. I mean, you're going to bring back, Boone and all those other old characters who are gone. So, like, whatever. Like,
yeah, it's almost like Penny should have died or something, and then like he wants to go to the. He wants to go to the island because he wants to see her again, or the whole light cave thing. He wants to get to where she is, which is kind of what he tries to do.
That's what happens, but it's a little bit too much, like, same old shit. Like, that's what he wanted before, and now we're back to, like, I want to get back to Penny again. And it's not really different from the first time, even though it kind of is, because he doesn't know that he actually visited the afterlife.
Yeah.
Which is an extra level of weirdness. But
and why is he trying to get to Penny in the afterlife versus Penny in real life?
He doesn't know that's what it is.
But I mean, he knows that
Penny exists for real.
Yeah, like,
no, you're right.
Why is going through the light cave the way to get to her?
He was fine with going to the alternate universe or whatever. It's a Penny. I'll take a Penny. I don't need the Penny.
Any Penny. He's so fine that it doesn't matter what incarnation of her. She's just the best.
They're all good.
Yep. There's no bad Penny.
No, you're right. That's a good point. I don't know why he thought, like, all was lost and I could never possibly see the real Penny again. So my only hope is this, like, crazy other world Penny.
Yeah, that's super weird.
Yeah. That's Desmond.
That is Desmond. Yeah. Wow. All right. Well, he's our you. We did it. We got through it.
It's not that bad. It's just not that good either.
Yeah, it's really lacking in a lot of things. I think most of the characters suck in this episode. Like, they don't really have a lot to do. And again, my biggest problem is just there's no plan. No one has any plan. And Hurley's like, I'll just be the chef. I'm cool, guys. And like, but everybody else is just like languishing around.
What are we doing? What's the point?
And like Kate has a reason she's there, but like she's not doing her reason she's there. She's not trying to find Claire. She doesn't know the first thing to do to find Claire. Also, you're in the wrong time period.
Yeah.
So you couldn't
I assume she knows that, and that's why she's not trying, but
anything.
But on the other hand, like, how do they know that Claire didn't time travel with the rest of them? I mean, in a way, she should have.
That's the big thing that they didn't. I don't expect them to show this on screen, but they didn't even do the thing where we understand that the Losties who went to the 70s for 3 years caught the other Losties up on what happened,
right?
And what how the time travel first started,
right?
And the fact that other people on the island were actually time traveling too.
Yeah.
And that, because you're right, that feeds directly into the idea that Claire could have been also time traveling. She actually could be out there in the 70s.
Yeah.
And just no one's found her yet,
Exactly.
And maybe she needs help. Maybe we got to go find her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, it turns out that that's not the case, but she has no reason to know or think that. So, yeah, I think...
and that could have been a thing. It could have been like, Claire, what if Claire time traveled too and she's out there? And then Jen could be like, no, I've searched. Like,
that's what I was saying. That's what they could say to get around it, which is like, they've been searching because they were looking for them the whole time. And they were like, if Claire was here, we would have found her, So, maybe she's back in the present or whatever they would say. But I feel like they do owe us that. Part of it is bullshit just because they're trying to not reveal why she came back yet. You know what I mean? They're trying to save it for her episode, which is like the next one, I think. So it's kind of like, not a great reason. And again, I feel like the story would have been fine in a linear fashion. I guess it's tricky to follow each character and figure out why they're on the plane before we even get on the plane. Maybe they thought that was too tedious and they needed to just get them on the island and then they'll play catch up. Like, I get the logic, I guess, but I feel like it's tedious either way.
And it probably would have to do with wanting to group their scenes into their centric episodes, so you could kind of do that this way instead of having those scenes play out earlier.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
But not the best episode. Definitely the ending's really good. Saeed just I'm gonna kill this kid.
Yeah. They brought it home.
Shot him a couple more times, but to make sure the job was done. But I really want to kill him.
I remember there's some weird controversy about which side the bullet was on. People were like really losing their minds over that. I guess there's a slight continuity error about where the bullet hit him. I think it's actually kind of a retcon, kind of along the lines of what they did with Saeed's lines in this episode. I think they make it look like it's closer to his heart in this one, and in the next one it looks farther away.
Yeah,
because he's gonna live.
Well, the light doesn't scatter quite right on the island, so kind of illusion there.
Exactly.
Yeah, the retcon was pretty fascinating. Is that like the biggest retcon? Like the biggest, just like, we're just gonna change the dialogue here.
Yeah, it's I can't think of any other example where they literally like changed the line when they showed a scene again. Like, usually when they show scenes again, they at least have even if the emphasis is different, they at least say the same things, and even on the plane they did that. Like, they replayed some of the lines from earlier. So it's the most like extreme version of that, and it's just such bullshit. Like too late, he already said what he said. Sorry if it doesn't work for your current story, but
and I think like it still would have played fine if they cut to, if I see interview again, it'll be a problem. And then so what? Like, it's okay that the situation had changed and he didn't have a vendetta against them all anymore or whatever.
Jack specifically, like that's who he calls out, and it's like none of the episode is about conflict with Jack, so I do understand why they felt like it was awkward for him to suddenly lash out at Jack. But that's what he said. You wrote it. I'm sorry. Too late. What happened.
Whatever happened.
So yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I feel like I think maybe there were even people who tried to say like they changed the timeline or something because of that discrepancy.
Fuck those people.
And I do, yeah, I know it's totally ridiculous, but I do wonder, like, if we ask them, like, so what did Saeed say on the doc? Is it really supposed to be like different perspectives, man? Like, are they going for
Yeah.
that?
Oh, jeez.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
like that's
Like
what
when he
happens in Pulp
remembered.
Fiction. You know, like some of the lines are like slightly different when they revisit it, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like perspectives, man.
That's the. You have to say it that way because that's the thing. Yeah.
You do.
Hey man, it's perspective, man.
Like from Jack's perspective, like he thought Saeed was calling him out, but he really was just
Mm-hmm.
talking to Ben the whole time.
Oh, so Jack was just like reacted.
Yeah, Jack's like really egocentric, so
Yeah,
he just thinks everything's about him.
that's great. You do a clip show of Jack, like all these clips where people are talking and Jack just thinks they're talking about him. Great. All right, Jack, push. Now push, Jack. Oh man. Yeah, that's great. Remember when Jack gave birth to Aaron? This island's crazy.
He's my son, Kate. What?
Oh jeez. Yeah.
You were there. Yeah, I love that he's that delusional. I feel like what's the other explanation? I mean, it's just yeah, no, I hated that. It drove me crazy at the time. Stuff like that, yeah. I don't know. It's different from other retcons where it's just like um the earlier scene implies that such and such is the case or this thing's happening, this person's doing this for this reason or whatever, and later they tell us like that's not true. Like that's one kind of retcon, but they don't literally say like, oh, that thing that the character said, they actually didn't say that.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like it's just a different level of changing the story.
Apparently they changed the little line in that Marina flashback. In this episode, Ben says to Son, there's somebody here in Los Angeles. And in the original scene, in This Place's Death, Ben says there's someone here in Los Angeles. So I guess when they reshot that scene, they changed the line on accident.
I don't know why they wouldn't bother to just because it's basically the same. I mean, that's not the same as the Saeed thing because it's a synonym, but
yeah.
But yeah, it definitely seems like they weren't. It's like they were writing from a vague recollection of what the scene said.
Yeah, Kate says this is insane. Period. You're all crazy. And then in This Place's Death, she says this is insane, comma, you guys are crazy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's weird.
It's weird that they couldn't get the original script.
Yeah, you would think they would have access to that in the writer's room. But okay. Yeah. Maybe they couldn't. I don't know. It's weird. I mean, I'm trying to come up with a way where it could work. Like, I don't know how far in advance they write. Like, maybe somehow, like, with the production, like, the script wasn't written for This Place's Death yet when they were writing this one. And so they both wrote slightly different versions of the scene before, you know? I don't know. That's my best guess. I feel like it shouldn't have been. They're like, I feel like they're not that far apart, you know, because This Place's Death was 5 and this is 10. And I don't know. It just seems unlikely to me that they hadn't written this one yet. And we're shooting it probably by the time 10 was written.
Yeah, that's pretty weird. But all right. Yeah, you know, what are you gonna do? Season 5.
He's our whatever.
Yeah, he's something to us.
It's fine. It's like, yeah, it's pretty listless. Everybody's kind of just sitting around waiting for something to happen. The ending is punchy. The flashbacks filled in some gaps in the story, though they didn't exactly make things better.
Yeah.
It's kind of functional. Um, Definitely not the worst episode ever, but yeah. I'm definitely ready for things to happen.
Well, whatever happened is next. So there's some happenings.
Happenings that already happened.
Yeah, they're happening again though, for the first time. Secondly. All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back next time with whatever happened.
Woo! Can't wait.
All right. Till next time, thanks and namaste.
Namaste and good luck.